And Stephanie said she's going to be a little bit late because she's driving from somewhere to somewhere. And I haven't got anything yet.
Hey, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
This is Mark. Hey, Phil may be coming over to sit in on the meeting, and if he does, I'll leave, and then he can sit in. And we talked about that earlier in the week. Well, he would walk over. His computer is down. So, in fact, I see him coming in right now, so he'll just take my place here.
Okay, Mark, all you'd have to do is go, like 8 feet away and just do it on your phone.
Yeah, okay. I'll go let Phil in.
Okay.
Okay, hi. I just told him you'd be on. So you're.
What do I do?
Phil!
Well, hello. Well, this is all new to me. What do I do?
Well, you're already in. So there's probably a way you can go and see different people by just doing something. I'm not sure what.
I probably can. Probably.
Yeah.
You can already see him.
Yeah.
You can already see other people?
Yeah, I can. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 5. 25 minus 3. 22 minus myself. 21 of you.
I just got that sent out.
Okay.
Oh, good. Good. Well, Phil.
Yes, sir.
For the last month.
I missed everybody for the last month.
Yeah, and we have different rules here, Phil. If you can get Mark to go get you a beer, you could actually drink a beer while you're in this meeting today.
Oh God, I brought water. Well, I made a mistake. Well, it's fun to see everybody.
Yep. Look at this crew.
I'm looking one at a time. I need to put my glasses on though.
So I think Ruth had the same idea. She sent it out at exactly the same time.
No, it's better when I can see.
You absolutely, both you guys, it hit exactly now. So not even 1 minute apart.
All right.
Good job, Carl. Good job, Ruth.
You didn't want to talk if you just want to watch.
Okay.
You can see.
Well,
on the right-hand corner there where it says mute.
So, normally I don't, we don't allow political stuff in Rotary, but I just think that we need to continue the social distancing next week. I don't know what the governor did, but I think we need to continue doing these Zoom meetings at least for another month. So we need the May committee, and I don't have my book with me, but the May committee needs to be prepared for next Thursday with a program and songs and everything else. So I think we should just assume that this is what we're going to be doing for at least May, and that May needs to be prepared to do that.
Mike, I contributed our first presentation to today.
Yeah.
So we're scrambling to find out for something next week, but we won't let you down.
Okay. Well, one of the things that I was thinking is that maybe we could get someone from the health department to do the how the county's doing or something, and you can maybe email Lisa and see if there's someone that she thought could do that, because I think that we still kind of are need to know what's going on. So that, and then just anything. I mean, at this point, we could do maybe a virtual tour that's some vacation that someone did, to some cool place that we could see, pictures, and actually, hope into the future we could do vacations like that again. So they really don't have to be that, you know, just something for us all to be happy about, mainly. So are you in May then, Sheena? So John just made you do one early, I see. Okay.
Yeah, John hijacked my idea, but sometimes he pulls the like president card, and you know.
That's good. So are you in charge of the prayer and everything today and the song?
Well, today is actually not May, so I'm going to stick to May for that, and I'll delegate those responsibilities to somebody else.
Okay, well, John was in charge of April, and he told me he's not going to be here today. So, so we're going to need some help with a prayer and a song. So who else is in that? Is in April?
I am.
Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
So since John's not in charge, you know, I think he's your godfather. So you're now in charge.
Perfect.
Okay.
Danny, I'm looking for Danny. Is she here? She's also in my month. Danny's here.
Okay.
Oh, I see. You didn't one of Danny's kids at least. Okay. Are we ready to go?
So it's 5 after 12, and I've got my American flag right here. So we can stand up, and we are going to. The only job I have from week to week is to go get the bell, and I keep forgetting to do that. So we're going to. That's the bell's just ringing, and we're going to get up, and Stephanie, you're going to say a prayer. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm going to welcome everyone to the greatest Rotary Club in the universe. And do we have a prayer, Stephanie?
Yes. Dear Father, thank you for your hand in the goodness of our lives. I know that you see every unexpected and uncertain circumstance, and I trust that you will go before me and prepare the way for us. Bless this Rotary Club and all the work that we do. Bless those that are here and those that could not join us today. In your name, amen.
Amen. Okay, so we're going to do the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test, I still look over here even though it's not there. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will Bill?
Goodwill and better friendships will it be beneficial to all concerned.
Thank you, Bill. And with that, Stephanie, do we have a song?
No song today. We're good.
No song? Okay. Bill, you're back.
Was I gone?
Well, we're just, right now, is there any visiting Rotarians on this list that we have today?
I don't know. My month is February.
Okay. So, but I do see some guests. Jolene, who do you have? Oh, you got rid of them. Who did you have in your room with you? So you got to unmute.
So you're
There.
on mute now, whatever.
I have Landon, my son.
I'm on mute.
You're on mute.
Okay. Hi, Landon. Anyone else bring someone else? Hi.
Mike, we got a guest. Tomasz Bensick from Kaufman Engineers is in here somewhere. Hey, Tomasz.
Okay, good.
Oh, Don's there too.
What is he? Oh, he's with.
Yep.
With
See,
Carl.
Phil, we got a lot of people here. So this, and I can see Mark. That's good enough for Mark. He's in the 6 foot zone.
Unlike the front
and
page of the
Danielle, who
paper
do you-
yesterday.
I have Hayes here. Can you say hi, Hayes?
Hi, Hayes.
Hi.
Okay. Good job. Welcome, everybody. So I don't know if this gets easier or harder to be separated from
The host meeting.
all of us.
I think Travis.
but
I need to be muted. It's not on there.
okay, you're muted. All right. But we have some stuff that we're going to need to deal with. And one, the grant came in for the money to give to the food bank from the district office, the $5,000. We're having a meeting Monday at 3 o'clock to figure out how to get the checks to $1,000 of the money's going to the Boys and Girls Club for those temperature things where you can just point it at someone and it'll tell you the temperature, because they're going to take temperatures of all the kids that come in and out of Boys and Girls Clubs. And then the rest of the $9,000 is going to the food bank. So we did $1,000 match in that, and the other 5 clubs did $1,000 each, and then it was matched by 5,000. So it was 10,000 total that's going to the food bank. And I just think that you know, that's an area that we need to continue to keep up the pulse on, and if we need to do another fundraiser for them, we should. So Teak is working on a grant. Teak, do you want to talk about your grant that you're working on that you're trying to get my signature for?
Oh, it's just our Nuevo Armenia report that I was doing to Rotary International. It's one of the plagues of dealing with Rotary International is you have to send a report, and that's great, but their website is a challenge for me, and multiple others have had help me. So I have great sympathy for your challenges, President Mike, but I have an email out to President Mayra and Copan Ruinas she needs to sign too. So all this money is not free. It requires work with websites and stuff that is great for improving my computer literacy and frustration. Thank you.
Okay, good. So I talked to Mark Venn on Paul Harris Awards, and we were going to wait till the meeting, like whatever it is, the 10th or something. Maybe it's more than the 10th, but the next board meeting. But because of all the other things that are canceled, we have chosen to postpone the Paul Harris for 1 year. We could bring it up at any time, but this way it's something that we're just not going to address at this point. So that has come up between the last meeting and now. The auction items, the party we're going to do at Big Lake, I think we should auction it off. I talked to Steve Rule. What we will do if we can't actually be at the auction at the facility is we're going to cook the pig. We're going to cook all the food, and then we will package it for people to just come and take it. So if we can't have a group there the middle of August, it's touch and go. Talking to people that it's either they think it's either going to be the 1st of August or the 1st of September when they're going to start having groups larger than 10 people. The problem that you have by pushing it further and further on is that you start getting pressure from people wanting to have a funeral, people who want to have a wedding. So there's going to be a lot of pressure put on governments to open up things this summer. Either way, I think we can have a lot of social distancing if we could figure it out. But at this point, I think we should auction it off. And in the worst case scenario is that you gave a donation to Rotary so that Mike Mosier has some money up front that he could spend on whatever he needs to. So the activities of those 3 items, the barge, the zip line, and the barbecue, I think we should go ahead on them. And if we can't do them, it'll just be a donation to Rotary, because most of the people are going to donate money anyhow. My brother John, I think he had been talking to you, Teak, too. When we go to pay our dues for next year, we should have a line item with the dues that if you wanted to donate to the Rotary Foundation, which I'm going to do, I don't know exactly how much, but I'm going to do a donation to the Rotary Foundation. And I think anyone who feels that they could, we could donate that money, and then at the Rotary Club of Sedro Woolley would have money available to do some functions this summer. So maybe if you were thinking of giving, $1,000 to the whatever you wanted to do, you could add that to your dues, and that money would go directly into our foundation, which could be then spent for activities that the board seems necessary after the June or July 1st. So that whatever money would be donated would be part of the budget for July 1st going forward. I'm opening this up to discussion right now because I want to know if there's any feedback that people feel we should talk about.
Well, just to be clear, I think we're talking about the Sedro Woolley Rotary Foundation, not National Foundation.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. So this would, but it's not club money.
Right.
It would be the money that would normally come from the auction, would be the money that we're talking about.
Yeah, Mike, this is Teak again. I know we have obligations to the International Project Alliance for Honduras, and those come due late summer, early funds. So I'm going to make most of what I would spend at the auction donated to the Sedro Woolley Rotary Foundation International Committee. So if people have favorite projects that are going along, then that would be another way to support those too. And I know we haven't totally talked about that at the board level, but I talked to your brother John yesterday, and we're talking about it now. And at least from my position on the board, I think that should be an option too. But we need that money to give President-elect Mike some leeway when he starts. There's nothing worse in my mind than starting off a whole new year and not being able to look at any budget at all till October, November after the auction, presuming that that's going to occur. And if I was going to spend the money at the auction anyway, then I plan on donating a big chunk here so that starting the new year that we have something to go with for our projects in general. Thank you.
Okay, and so this is it's all new to the way our Rotary has been run, but I think that we can't just stop being Rotarians. And Rotarians build things and they send money to people. So so we need to make sure that we basically stay the course on some of this stuff. And if we choose to, what Teak's saying is that he wants to earmark his for international. We spent over $20,000 at international last year, and I think you double or triple your value. So if you don't think this problem that we're having right here in Washington isn't 10 times worse in Mexico and these other countries, it is. They are dying drastically for lack of work and lack of financing down there too. So we really need to be aware of the whole world, not just Sedro Woolley, but that's why Teak and Carl and those guys help us keep that in mind. So anyone else have a comment on how we should be doing this? Okay, so
Well,
if you have,
Mike, yeah, I think it's great what people have talked about here, just donating funds to our Sedro Woolley Foundation that they would spend at the auction, which would have been tomorrow. My house is very clean right now, and it's crazy weird for all of us. So I think, write those checks to the Sedro Woolley Rotary Foundation so Mike can have a foundation to get started.
thank you, David. You should write a really big one because this is the easiest auction you've ever had to do. And since it was going to
I'll
be,
get out of here as soon as
It's okay.
go ahead.
just to remind people when the dues go out that $1,000 donation to the foundation qualifies people for a Paul Harris Award. That's all.
Okay, so we might just do the Paul Harris Awards a little bit different this year. That you can, $1,000 buys, but that's only if we send the money to.
We're talking about two different foundations here.
Oh, okay.
And the donation to the Sedro Woolley Project Foundation does not buy a Paul Harris. So Mark, you're wrong on that.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought it was the same. Sorry.
No. You can write 2 checks in, one to each one if you wanted to do that. But I think that what we're trying to do is generate money so that we can do functions. And I think later in the year, if we can't do the auction, we're going to need to do another activity like this that the money is directly to fund scholarships. But right now we postponed that for about 6 months so that we can do some of these other things because we don't even know. I mean, there's colleges that don't have a clue what they're doing next fall yet. So we're kind of in limbo there. So this is to mainly the money would be used for international and local projects. And one of the local projects could be continuing to fund food bank activities. So that's the goal for this first round. We're going to have Danielle is going to figure out how to do it, the auctions, those 3 things on the auction. And then we're going to just, if people want to just donate money, that's the next way to do it. And then we will still figure out how to do this regular auction in September if we can. So with that, is there any other club business before we have Sheena do our program?
I have something, Mike. Thank you to everyone who has sent their new photos. For those of you who haven't, please do. I know that you all
take a picture of me today. Just screenshot me today, and that'll be as good as it's gonna get.
I think your photo is fine because you look quite distinguished in it. There are some of you who look very young compared to reality. Let's just put it there. So I would like some new photos. It can be a selfie. It just has to be here, here, here. Send it to me. I'll make it black and white. It'll be beautiful. Hold it up high. That's a secret to selfies. It makes you look slimmer, less chins, you know. Do whatever you have to do, but some of y'all look really young. Really young. It's just, it's bad.
Just remember us people that are, at a certain age, we never really got old. We're still young. So you're just looking at the wrong person. No, I'm just kidding.
My favorite example was that Doug Wood was still in his uniform. It's
Oh,
been
yeah,
a
that
while.
could be a problem. Okay, any other business? Ruth, thank you very much. Please get pictures to her, and not a picture of your dog or a picture of, someone drinking a beer. She actually needs pictures that she can proudly put in our booklet. Anything else? Okay, Sheena, you're up.
Hello. I am happy to introduce Brian Harris today. I've worked with him for about 7 years at Janik. He's a program manager there. And over the time, I've learned to really respect him personally and professionally. And he has been leading a team that's had the opportunity to work on some COVID aid. So he's going to make a little presentation and show you what we did here at Janik. Brian?
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi, I'm Brian Harris. I'm program manager at Janik Industries for the Commercial Industrial Market Division. I basically have worked at Janik Industries for about 19 years. And just recently, I've run a couple of projects through the company under the request of upper management to support the fight against coronavirus or COVID-19. I prepared a brief PowerPoint presentation on what those projects were, and I was going to focus on, how we built them and how we developed them, and then save a couple minutes at the end for some questions. So I'm going to try to share my screen. Okay. Everybody see the PowerPoint?
Yeah.
You got it.
Okay. So there were basically 2 products that we worked on. One was an aerosol isolation chamber, a larger chamber for isolating patients while they're being tested or receiving oxygen nebulizer treatments. And another part of the project was a shield box, more of a shield for intubation. The intubation shield itself looks like this. It's a clear polycarbonate box that is placed over patients that are being intubated, and it blocks aerosol sprays, helps protect doctors and other healthcare workers from, infectious droplets. The other part of the project is an isolation chamber. An isolation chamber is meant so that you can actually walk inside of it. Now, it's really geared more towards patients that are known to be infected or could be infected. So it's trying to keep any infections contained within the chamber. Okay, so we received a couple of requests from some local hospitals. They were asking for designs for these products, and a design competition was initiated. Half a dozen entries, and mine was chosen. So I got to work on this about a week and a half ago. In terms of the isolation chamber design inputs, we basically collected some facts that we wanted to consider in the design process. So when I design products, we try to gather all the design inputs to make sure that we're keeping the design on track and running it as fast as we can. In terms of the design itself, the first step was basically like a paper napkin sketch, concepting. And so you can see here a concept of the isolation chamber and a concept of the shield box. That turned into 3D models. So I designed those products with our CAD software at Janik, and then made drawings and files to support fabrication of them. Once the designs were complete, I took the design and developed a bill of materials. Basically, every component that we needed to get, we had to make sure all the materials were on the shelf ready or could be had within a matter of just a couple of days. We worked very hard on a bill of materials and sourcing. Once these materials were all ordered, we kit them up and prepared them for manufacturing. In terms of the intubation shield fabrication, pretty straightforward. We CNC water jet polycarbonate into pieces that were then bonded together in a fixture. The isolation chamber fabrication was a bit more involving because we had to assemble a frame. We also had to design and build a custom fan and filter to create negative pressure within the isolation chamber. And we had to design a custom door that could be easily opened and shut and seal. We also wanted the isolation chamber to be easily wheeled around by healthcare workers. We didn't want this to weigh 1 million pounds. We wanted a single person to be able to move it around easily. So it has casters that can be, raised and lowered just with these little foot levers here. After about 2 days, the first articles were complete and delivered. Here's a picture of the doctor over at Mount Vernon when I delivered the first box to their hospital. And this is a picture of the hospital just down the road in Sedro Woolley when we delivered the second box. I want to list out a few names for special thanks. Dr. Xian Young Lai, intubation box concept. He really came up with the aerosol intubation box shield concept. Jeswa Harris works at Peace Health in the emergency trauma room. And so he kind of helped give us some feedback, and we made some modifications to that box's design. Connie Davis is pictured here in this image. And she's over at the hospital in Mount Vernon. Bill Thomas is materials management at Skagit Regional Health. Andy Bridge is my vice president for the commercial, industrial, and emergent markets at Janeke. And John and Peter really did a great job supporting, our efforts. This is a great way to support the community. So they basically gave me a green light, just said, whatever you need, get it done. Ashley Ensley helped us water jet all of the plastic pieces to be bonded together. Eric Schwartz is one of my project engineers, as well as Mary Price. And they really helped me do a lot of the grunt work to get materials ordered and get things kit up and ready to build. And then Eric Norman provided his assembly cell so that I could help assemble a first article. And then his crew took over fabrication of the second article. So that's all I wanted to share on the PowerPoint. Are there any questions or comments?
Brian, are those open designs? I've seen some things on Facebook and LinkedIn about just the actual single box. Are they open for anybody to fabricate?
They are, and we've posted files on LinkedIn. We're kind of treating it as open source. Right now, we're not really gearing up for mass production at Janeke Industries of these products, but we are willing to offer all the designs, drawings, files, images as kind of open source for any hospital or anybody that wants to manufacture these items.
Are you getting any demand for for more?
Currently, there has been a couple of requests, but it's so new. They're just getting a chance to kind of get their hands on them and put them into use. Right now, the box that was delivered to Mount Vernon went straight to the ER, where I believe it is being tested and evaluated. The box that went to the hospital in Sedro Woolley is not going straight into the building yet. They don't need it yet. Hopefully they never do. So it could be a matter of time.
And it looks like those boxes can be disinfected via UV. Is that what I caught on one of those slides?
That's right. The goal was during the design process to manufacture these boxes out of materials that were non-organic and not porous, so they could be easily cleaned. The boxes are all clear so that you can see if they're clean, and you can also see what's inside the boxes.
How expensive are the materials?
The materials for one of the large chambers is roughly about $2,000, with at least that much extra labor added. So that's for one of the large chambers. For one of the small boxes, it's just a couple $100s of polycarbonate and acrylic polycarbonate cement.
Hey, Brian. Josh Requa here. Can you hear me?
Oh, hi, Josh.
Hey, nice job, by the way. You know, I'd like to point out to the rest of the club that I had a program lined up for May, which I'm in charge of programs for May, and this was one of them, by the way. So somebody went behind our back, Sheena and myself, and moved this into April. But nice job, Brian. That's very interesting. So now Sheena and I have some work to do to come up with some other programs for our month, but I don't think John's on, but we'll thank John for that one. But yeah, nice job. That was very interesting. I wish that I could show you all some of the projects that I work on, but that'll never happen. If I do, then I'll get in big trouble. So, so we'll have to come up with some other ideas, but yeah, nice job.
Oh, thank you.
I'm curious if these things are going to actually see use.
You know, they were originally intended for certain purposes, but I am getting some feedback that, you know, the larger isolation chambers could be used to isolate testing patients as well, or just for other items as well. I think they will get use. You know, there seemed to be a lot of buzz when I delivered the large chambers at the hospital, where people were like, oh, wow, that would be great to have that, you know?
I think, you know, speaking of from most engineers, a lot of our projects that we end up doing, the first push out is more of an education of what we can do. And then you got doctors and nurses and stuff thinking about how would we do this? How would we change it? And what we might be building a year from now could be totally different, but it's because an engineer got into their room that you actually have people thinking about, oh, we could do this instead of having to have, you know, some other issue, something else that they're doing now. So I think just the idea that we are on that cutting edge, and if somebody wants something, they call us and we respond, is what's really important. And that's why I wanted to do this week instead of next week, because I just stole this one from John. And I said, John, we want to do this one early because this is the kind of stuff that makes it exciting for engineers, let's say, to work for Janicki, because they got freedom to do projects like this. I mean, literally, this project started on a Friday, and by Monday, it was pretty much engineered and ready to go to fabrication. So that's what I wanted people to hear is that we might make some cool things, but we would do anything, especially for this community if they need it. So that's the story I wanted to have told today. And does anyone else have anything else?
Well, he's going to need a pen, so that could be important for his next napkin sketches.
I have one more. I'm sorry to be such a nerd about this, but I can't help myself. I'm an engineer. So what about the air going in and out of these boxes? Are you doing filtered HEPA air, or are you filtering the air coming out? Was there any consideration about airflow in and out of these things?
Yeah, there was. I ran some calculations for makeup air, and basically it draws air from the floor. So it has a designed gap around the floor of the box where it pulls ambient air from the outside environment into the box from below. And the gap was designed so that that gap wouldn't allow for, you know, a drop in the negative pressure per the fan. The fan was designed with a certain amount of pressure to move a certain amount of air out of the box without, you know, creating the box, creating a vacuum chamber in the box that was, you know, too much pressure. In terms of the filter itself, after doing some research, chose a 0.3 micron HEPA filter off the shelf, which, you know, could filter out viruses of this size. We basically designed and built a custom polycarbonate shroud around the filter that hooked up to the fan so that they were directly connected.
So I don't know if everyone else's internet's off and on, but mine's kind of running about 50% of the time. I came to our office because my house was even worse. But it sounds like these guys did a really good job. I'm supposed to give you a pin, you know, so that says thank you from the greatest Rotary Club in the universe. So I will get you a pin. This is not the, but I will get you a pin, and we'll make sure that you have some contract you have with some cool outfit. You can bring out this pin from Rotary and say, yeah, I got this at the Sedro Woolley Rotary Club, and we'll have to invite you when we can actually feed you. So thank you very much. Anything else, you guys?
All right, well,
okay.
I'm gonna get back.
Hello?
I'm gonna go ahead and get back to work for your brothers now, okay?
Okay, well, yeah, they probably didn't even know you were not working, see? All right. Hey, David, did you have something?
Oh, I did. So, you know, we're holding our own here at Country Meadow Village. Everyone's healthy and safe. And I took advantage of the screening that they had at the college. And I just got my results back about a half hour ago, and I tested negative. So I'm relieved and very happy about that news.
Well, that's good. I know that there's a few people in the club that it's just really hard for them to look at you the way you're at right now. I know it's not your glasses or your, hey, your hair looks like it was done, David. Did you sneak out and get your hair done in the last month?
I've been cutting my own hair for most of my adult life. So
okay, well, you can use that as an excuse, but
thanks, Mike.
Just the only reason I brought that up was because I was on my way over here. Lisa saw me walk out of the house, and she says, "You are not going on TV or whatever this is until I fix your hair." So she took me in the backyard and got the dog clippers and did my hair before this thing. So she hasn't done a haircut on anyone since Peter, my son, was 4 years old, and she cut his ear. So so I was really worried that my ears would get cut, but you know what? She did a good job, or as good a job as that. So that's the only reason I brought it up, David. But anyhow, thank you very much for getting back on. Anything else for the good of the before we go? Travis, how many people do we have today?
There's 46.
46, so that's almost a record, I think, right?
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you guys very much. Next week, we're gonna have a great program because I know who's in charge of it, and I'll make sure that they are on board. Ruth, thank you very much for keeping everything going in the right direction. People, get a good picture to Ruth. Okay, so something that's less than 10 years old. Let's see what else. And if you have anything, email me, and I will respond the best I can. And with that, anything? Okay. I think I go off. There we go.
I think we're adjourned, everybody.
There you go. You can say it now. Travis?
Travis, you got something to say?
Oh, I think we're done. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Travis.
Travis.
Thank you.
You still there, Travis?
Yeah.
Kevin.
You have something to say to me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Mark. I thought
You look-
Travis was going to talk to me.
No, you look like you're putting on weight.
I am. No basketball for 2 months will do to you.
Well, your wife's able to stay nice and slim.
She don't eat like I do.
Well,
Oh, I didn't notice Kevin was there.
I think it's the liquid. It's the liquid that's not the same.
The liquid calories don't help.
Hey, Kevin.
What's up?
I did have something to say. I told your kids to say you suck at basketball.
I heard. We're going to have you come to morning basketball one more time and back that up.
Yeah, because you haven't ever shown me otherwise before.
Good to see you.
You too.
Bye, guys.
Travis.
What?
Yeah, Travis, did you get a tea time for next week on Tuesday?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, Eric and I are playing at 10:30.
Awesome. I am gonna get out next week for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe Kevin will go with me.
I was talking to Brock Stiles today. They said something about you have to either play in twos or if you live in the same household.
Yeah.
I said, well, who's to say that we're not all polygamous and we're all married together and they can't prove it? He thought that was a good idea. We could do that.
Hey, Christine. Christine, you have horns.
It's my favorite spot to sit.
Oh, there's a baby. Hi, honey.
Bye, guys.
Super.
Oh, he needs moochies.